Hello. Hello, everyone. I'm Xing from Evil Empire. Sorry, I'm a very straightforward person, so I'm just going to start directly from here. My topic today is about indie games, Chinese marketing. Before we get into the topic, you probably have already seen this very funny poster on my slides. Because in the past 2 weeks, I've been really busy with Steam Next Fest. So my boss, Bei Hongjie, he did most of the decoration work of this PowerPoint. So you will see a lot of boomer jokes on it. So apologize in advance if any of them make you feel uncomfortable. But let's start. So who is Evil Empire? We firstly work on the live ops of Dead Cells, and we released The Rock Prince of Persia with Ubisoft. We're now working on the live ops of Potato, and we're gonna release a new Castlevania game in this October. And we are also the organizer of the III initiative. And we are also a ninja publisher, which means we kind of do stuff, but we don't name ourselves. So we firstly started this business for a Chinese game called BlazBlue Entropy Effect. It's a roguelike action games, very cool. We work on its Western market for like 1 year, and now we are helping Over the Hill on their Chinese market. And who am I? I'm Xing. I'm a Chinese. I'm a woman. And I like Civilization, Slay the Spire, vintage clothes, baguette with butter, and my boss. Apparently, he wrote this. So then let's talk about China. I didn't put a lot of like big data from those data report here, because I know a lot of people already know about it. So we're going to just start from Evil Empire, why we have put so many efforts in this market. It's very simple, because it's from Dead Cells, and it's the same for Potato. 40% of our players are from China. And yeah, it's the most negative review region. And I think it was like 5 years ago, my bosses, Ben, he's sitting there, and they realized this fact. So they first start to talk some PR agencies, and then they quickly realized that most of them, they're focusing on like really big marketing stuff, like big campaign around major bids, influencer PR support. They will adapt your social copies. They will even run your social media. However, somehow they just felt that the gap with players still exists, because as a Western devs, you still cannot directly communicate with Chinese players. And then they received my CV. They ended up hire me. So we kind of have a like in-house Chinese marketing team since then, even though it's just only me, to directly communicate with players. So at the beginning, my priorities focus on more about social media coverage, bug and feedback procedure, to channel most of bad reviews into the community instead of the Steam reviews section. And gradually, because we did a lot of like games DLC, so we kind of built up our press network, influencer networks in this market. And now we go to China every year for BizDev opportunity too. So we are here, and you might have a question. What should you do? Should you just work with an agency, or should you just work with a local publisher, or should you just hire? So this chart is actually the answer given by a game developer's guide published by a Polish institute in 2023. It gives us 3 regional revenue range for us to make a decision. But I think, sorry, you can take picture. But personally, I think the reality is far more complex. Because when we are talking about publisher and agency, I feel like the line between them are really blurring now, because most of agency, they tend to contribute more because they want a bonus, they want rev share to earn more. And publisher tend to act like agency because they want to avoid more risk. And we are talking about regional publishing deal in this specific region, most of publisher, they have a really special strategy regarding this kind of deal. They prefer the games with already like really high wish list and hype. They are still okay with MG, but they're less likely to provide any financial funding. And they tend to focus on launch big, but it's also because of the players' behavior, which we are going to talk about it more later. And how about creating your own team? So we actually have 3 standards for you to think about it. First is your ROI. Second is your pipeline. Like, do you have like continuous pipeline to justify such a full-time role? And it's about your ambition. Do you want to build your brand and reputation as a proper publisher or developer in this market? Do you want to have reusable resources for your upcoming games? Or do you want to have full transparent control about all of your activities in this region? If the answer are all yes, then I think you should just hire a person. And I know I assume there are some small teams here. For you case, you probably don't have any plan to work with others. You don't even have budget. Then what can you do? We will talk about something later too. So first, when you get into a market, you have to know about the players. So we're gonna get to know more about them now. And firstly, I think the biggest and the most basic characteristics of this group of players is like they are very, very young. Most of them, they are college, like university students. So we have a very down-to-earth number here. First picture is actually it's our demographics of our followers on Bilibili. Eva Empire's account has 18K followers on Bilibili, so 45% of them are between 16 to 24 years old. We also asked our Chinese friend, Blades Blue Entropy Effect. They got like 733K followers on their Bilibili account because they have a really special stories. So I would say most of like roguelike indie game, action game player on Bilibili are following their account. So this number is actually very solid. So 41% of their followers are 16 to 25 years old. So imagine when you are young, you probably have a very tight budget. It doesn't mean you won't pay for the game like with absolute high price. We're still paying for a Japanese game, which always priced at 40, 50 US dollars. It's fine, but it's really important that we get the significant value out of our expenditure. So they are very value sensitive. And when we talk about this, I think for us Western devs, the most difficult part is to understand what's their value perception. Because when we price a game at 80 CNY, which is around 10 euro, it's like 2 coffee for us. And Chinese players will still think it's very expensive. So I come out a very down-to-earth value benchmark. So here's a reference. It's the most classic university lunch. You have everything, very big portion. I still miss it now. It only costs 2 euro. And based on this reference and based on like people's reviews in the market, for them, Absolute and Expedition 33 is in the fair pricing range. And Outbound and Little Nightmare 3 of super unfair pricing. So I think if you play these 4 games, you will kind of realize understand this model deeply. So the other fun fact about psychological pricing is that A is our lucky number. 9 is still very good, but A just always sounds better. So we generalize a little bit of like pricing trend based on this psychological pricing. So 38, 48, 50A is kind of for entry-level indie pricing, to 80A to 90A is kind of higher-end AAA indie positioning. And that's everything about pricing. And based on the characteristic of being young, there's another fun fact about them. It's the peak season is actually July and August, when we don't usually work, when we Europe never work in July and August, while our Chinese peers, they always plan their major updates during this period because that's where all students have their summer holiday. They have most of their free time to play. And the second one, their characteristics, they really want to be seen, especially by Western devs, because we are always like lack of presence in this market. So they emphasize it a lot. That's why you kind of feel like they're really easy to get pissed just because of tiny miscommunication. And they are also really easy to be pleased just because of a single post specifically made for them. And then they only act on meaningful bits because it's really hard for them to access to Steam. It's not really hard, but it's kind of hard. There's always like connection problem. So they won't only just wishlist the game because of a simple announcement or launch day announcement. So demo, playtest, launch, when there's like real game content, is very important bit to drive their attention. And then they consume content really, really fast. They get and they nail the game really fast. So they just stop playing, they abandon the game really, really quickly. And just imagine all social media is like TikTok in China. So every day they live in the explosion of information. So they get distracted super quick. And last one, they don't have dinosaur face. I didn't realize that. See, you did this. I know, right? So when we made Potato, the next DLC for Potato is Primojet. It's about dinosaur, and everyone is so excited about it. I didn't get it why, and then until I told them, oh, there's no one talk about dinosaur under the comments of the trailer, and all of my colleagues like, why? How could it be possible? So by this I mean. We Chinese people have different culture, like different mindset. Just try not to use our common sense to value this group of players. And I think if you do that, you probably will make a lot of mistakes in this market. So a recap. It's a complaint from a boomer about Zoomer. They're very young. They emphasize on ROI too. And they're very emotional, and they love being heard and respected. They're fast consumer, and they have no dino face. And where can we talk with them? So we are talking about social media and community platforms now. There are 3 platforms you have to specifically pay attention to. The first one is Bilibili. It's like Chinese YouTube, but with really strong community vibe. And for Heybox, it's like Storefront and Reddit. And for QQ, it's like Discord. I think except for QQ, most of them are pretty easy to be accessed by Western devs. Just only for stream, if you don't have Chinese ID, you can't stream in China. So for Vampire, I actually use all of my close friends' ID to verify our account. And be careful not going to the wrong website because they have like different version for overseas and for China. And how about Chinese TikTok, we call it Douyin and Rednote. It highly depends on the game. For Rednote, it got super famous because of TikTok refugees. 17% on these platforms are female. So this kind of game, I strongly recommend to try to make some presence on this platform. And for TikTok, it's kind of the same with the Western one. Just those streamer games will be super easy to get attention on this. Then how can we use these platforms properly? So it's our workflow. For Bilibili and Heybox, we mainly use them for information communication and to expand the reach. And for QQ, we do feedback and bug collection and player internal exchange. So what if you can't have QQ? I think for Bilibili and Heybox, they are really enough for you to just get feedback and for bug report. Because for the Rock Prince of Persia, we just localize the form, and our QA just use AI translation to translate every bug report, and very easy, very smooth. And the other tips about feedback and bug collection is that you have to communicate this channel everywhere all the time, because they don't have this kind of mindset that you can talk with dev. So if you don't do the onboarding well, they will just directly go to the Steam review section and leave a negative reviews. What if you are a small team? So with AI translation, actually a lot of devs are going into China without agency and publisher helps. So there is a case study. It's a Portuguese dev. He just translated all of his content with ChatGPT, and he earned a lot of numbers, like very impressive numbers in China. So in general, like back to the methodology, I don't think there is any difference from when you are building your Western community. Just be transparent, be facilitating, be a dev, be yourself, and try to take advantage of AI. Then next, we have social media. Then we're going to talk about how to influence them. So in China, generally, influencers are more influential than press. And the content ecosystem is kind of same in China, and kind of same with that in the West. And some mega influencers are working as a press now. And how can you communicate and coordinate with them? So first, no email. We don't use email. You have to use WeChat, QQ, or just send a direct message to them. And second, you have to pay. There is no organic reach, but they are not really expensive. And for payment, most of them have their own studio who can accept international payment. Just make sure you have the right transfer details. The last one, I think they are the nicest and the most professional influencers across the world. Seriously, Beyoncé said that too. And how about showcase? So as a showcase organizer, it's unfortunately, I have to say, there's no big showcase culture in China. People watch the Game Awards and first-party showcase, and that's it. They don't even have like dedicated local showcase in this case. Then we have everything now, how to plan an efficient campaign. You can see we are taking Dead South, Return to Castlevania roadmap as an example here. We have so you can see from the global plan, we have 4 main bits. The first one, and when it comes to the regional plan, we only sync the first 3 bits on the social media, and we put most of our efforts on the launch bit. And why it's like that, just thinking about the characteristic we have talked about before, they are fast consumer, they only act on like meaningful bits, so everything comes together now. So here's the main takeaway. So I think you have to put most of your budget around launch window to create a burst of hype and to conquer the algorithm of each social media. And demo, playtest, any bits with real game content are really important too. Try to focusing on Bilibili and Heybox. The reach to Retinal and TikTok depends on the game. And big pictures here, let's focus on something small. So first, Heybox, I want to specifically talk about it. I think most of people know about it as the biggest distributor in China, but it's also a very strong marketing tool. Every time I talk about Heybox, people just don't have any concept. What does it look like? So I screenshotted all the pages on its app, and I Google Translate it. So in the first page, it's like community feeds. Players share their experience here. And the second page is like a hub of all the discount information, gaming news, blah, blah, blah. And the third page is game library, like where players find and buy games here. And the fourth page is also part of the library, but it's actually the ranking list. You can find the most popular and most anticipated game in this page. And by the way, their most anticipated page is actually based on their own Heybox wish list. So if you want to see if how's your campaign working in this market, it will be a really good number for your reference. And then, because it's a store, so it actually has a Heybox version of Steamworks. So it's like Heybox Works. In this interface, you can see at the right side, you have a lot of marketing tool. You can do the pay ads here. You can do the content marketing to recruit content creator to create content for your game. And then you also have like all your numbers on this app too. I blur all the numbers, but you can see we have like game impression, your wish list increase on this platform for this specific, for the potato. And you also have game players insight here. They will show you what kind of game they are playing, your players is playing recently, what type of game they are playing recently. And then it's mobile porting. I think this one is really easy because unlike PC, there's no gray market like Steam. So you have to work with a Chinese company to get the ISBN to get into this market. For Chinese company, I mean like the real local Chinese company, because I think even Ubisoft China, they cannot apply for ISBN just by themselves. They have to work with other people to get it. And it would be huge works to get through all the procedures. So I think it's only worth for like super hits to do it. And if your game is super violent or you have a lot of sensitive content, it will be more complicated. I think even for Dead Cells, our devs have complained a lot of back and forth procedure at that moment. And we spent we have the mobile ISBN for our mobile version, but we spent 4 years applying for the PC ISBN. We didn't get it. We just never get it. And who you should work with? I put two logos here, but they're actually the same company. XD.com is the parent company, and the Tap is their mobile brand. I think they are the best indie porting game in the market, and they're just honest. They don't fuck you up. They try to protect your game. They try to protect your brand. They don't do stupid microtransaction business model just to earn money. So I think they are really good. And last part is about negative reviews. We have mentioned it a lot before, but here I want to talk more about how you can just perceive these negative reviews in a healthy mindset. Because sometimes when you did all communication work you could do, and you will just find that there's always negative reviews coming from Chinese players. So for me, I think most of them, it's like their emotion release. When they leave a negative reviews, it doesn't mean they really hate your game. Most of the time, they're like, the bug is so annoying. It's so frustrating. And then I'm going to leave a negative reviews. And legally, we have a term, is crime of passion. I think it's kind of like negative reviews of passion. It's the best word to describe this kind of player's behavior. And then sometimes I feel like it's a power play, because they will say, oh, if you don't change this feature, I will leave a negative review. And, oh, you really didn't change it, so I'm going to leave a negative review right now. But, you know, sometimes that's not how game development works, because we are always thinking about the big picture, or sometimes their ideas just don't fit in. So after several years of like struggling and dealing with this group of players, I think Evil Empire we kind of finally achieved in a peaceful mind of state, which is we have to be the person to decide if we are going to have negative reviews or not. Because I want to talk about Potato, because a month ago we released a difficulty update, and we kind of received a mini review bomb, but we are kind of all right with it because we kind of knew it's gonna come, because before we released the update, we did 2 rounds of player tests in our Chinese community, and it wasn't really received well. But after a lot of consideration, we just decided not to change it. So I think it's probably the most valuable thing that I can share with you here. It's like you have to really work on it. You have to really understand this group of people, and then you can have this kind of control, like not be scared of a sudden review bumps. And that's everything about my presentation. Thank you.
Long time. Thank you very much. I was just about to say it's 5 minutes for meeting and you said thank you. We're gonna tell them to ask you questions, and if they cannot speak English, we're gonna tell them they can speak French. I'll transfer you. Just hold the mic. I'll do. Ouais, 1, 2, on m'entend, super. Bon, du coup, on va passer une petite session questions-réponses. Du coup, préférez l'anglais, s'il vous plaît. Si jamais vous préférez poser la question en français, dites-le en français, je m'occuperai de traduire, on s'occupera de traduire, et puis on fera bien. On va vous passer les micros, il y en a pour une dizaine de minutes, on ne pourra pas faire passer tout le monde, il y a énormément de questions, mais voilà, essayez d'être le plus concis possible, s'il vous plaît, merci beaucoup. And thank you very much for your conference, of course. Bon, monsieur au bout là-bas.
Hi, many thanks for the very interesting talk. We launched a game in China and we had some trouble getting into the tap-tap system and everything because we didn't have a Chinese phone typically. So how does that apply to the whole Bilibili, Heybox universe? Is it complicated when you're based in France as a small studio to actually open an account, operate it from France? Are there technical barriers and stuff like that?
Okay. I think, I think I have a slide for it. I probably talk about it too quick, you know. Yeah, it's here. So I think for Bilibili and Heybox, it's very easy. You just need to go to the right website and you sign up for it with your own phone number. French number works because a lot of my colleagues' number are used by me to create the account, because one phone number can only sign up for one account. But after that, it will be a little bit tricky because, for example, if we want to be an official account here, you need to do a lot of paperwork. Especially for Bilibili, they will ask for your business license, your translation copy of your business license, and your tax proof or something like that. In fact, it's really easy just to use the Google browser translation to translate everything, because the word on it, it's very simple. Normally, the translation is quite accurate. Yeah.
Hi, over here. So we're planning to release on Steam Global and try to bypass ISBN. Is it risky to communicate on Heybox if you're planning to use the gray Steam area?
Yeah. I didn't talk about Heybox because Heybox system is totally binding with Steam system. So players on it, they can just bind their Steam account with their Heybox account. So when they buy the game on Heybox, the game will directly in the library of Steam. So it's a very close ecosystem. That's why they kind of get into the very kind of monopoly position in this market, because they have a really well-established system. And all you have done, because if you are going as a developer, it will be really useful to verify your official account on there, because you can access to a lot of data there, and you can do a lot of marketing activities on there. Normally, it's not very difficult. their procedure is way simple than Bilibili.
And you don't need to have an ISBN to use the
Oh
service?
no, not at all, because they are a key distributor. They don't. So their key is directly connected to the Steam keys. So they are selling the Steam keys. So you don't really need an ISBN for your game.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Thank you. I have some question about localization. I'm wondering if Chinese players often play in English version, and if we can have some review bombing if the Chinese localization is not so good. I mean, made by EA.
Yeah, it's possible. They usually play in simplified Chinese, and if your translation is just like normal, like normal work from normal localization agency, it will be fine. But if there's cause a very common bug for the localization is that you always have the tofu, the square, with your Chinese localization in the game. It's because the font you are using is not compatible with the character. That specific character is losing in your font is losing in your font that you are using. So that's a very common bug that will lead to a lot of negative reviews. Or if your translation is like kind of weird in another way, for example, I think for Silk Song is this case, because they hire two translators which try to make the localization in a very weird cultural way, which doesn't really fit the game. This lead a huge negative review bomb from China. I think in this case, for most of small team, just be the normal one. Just use the normal localization agency. Normally, you won't make any mistake, and do the LQA really properly. Yeah.
Hello. Thank you so much for the talk. Super interesting. Circling back to your analogy with launches and perceived value, I was wondering, you had some games that were considered and perceived as like fairly priced and some unfair. What actually makes it perceived like fairly priced? Is it the amount of updates that the game received? Is it the absolute playtime? What is it?
So it's more about it's a very general impression combined their perception of your quantity and your quality. So it's really hard to explain it just by words. So it's so I suggest that like if you are really curious about it, you can just play the 4 games, and then you will kind of get the vibe. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for the presentation. If there is no showcases in China, and if players do not care about announcements or any beats outside of demo and launch, how do you build up interest early on with your game?
So most of time, because we know we tend to make a really long campaign in the West, like we separate them in several bits. Most of the time, I just sync the trailer in our social media account. And when I have a demo or playtest, I might spend some money, like small money, to hire some influencer, Bilibili influencer, or the content creator in Heybox to create some content for it. But I would like to pay more around launch window to really create the 5 to 7 days hype around them, because Chinese player they're really easy to chase the trend. Like when something is super hit in the community for during a period of time, people will just buy it because everyone is saying, "Oh, it's really good," and everyone is playing it. So sometimes it's not good. It's not really good to say that, but sometimes they're really easy to be influenced by other people, by the whole trend in the community. So that's why I suggest that you put most of your budget around launch window, because normally the trend will just convert everything into the purchase, into your revenue. Yeah.
Thank you.
On a le temps pour encore une dernière question. Je vois monsieur là-bas. Ce sera vous. Bon, un collègue va vous donner le micro.
Hello, thank you for the presentation. So my questions will be towards other platforms. You have talked about Steam and mobile specifically, but what about the console market? I know the Switch launched in China, so I don't know if there's an interest in that.
So for console, most of Chinese player, they just use VPN to create like Hong Kong account, States account to buy games in this region. Because if you want to get into the console market, Chinese market, you need ISBN too. Yeah. So their most of their behaviors is just get a foreign account to buy games.
Écoute, c'est bon. Merci beaucoup tout le monde pour votre écoute, pour votre attention. I think we can applause one last time for the conference. Thank you very much.